I'm shooting the EOS 500N. It's a Canon camera. So it was introduced in 1996, which is the decade I was born in, or we were born in even. It's an SLR. It's 35mm. So it takes 35mm film. It's got autofocus on it, which is really handy. And
your brain's gone.
I think that was it, wasn't it? Was there something else?
Oh, then it shoots 1 frame per second.
Oh yeah.
But
and it shoots 1 frame per second.
I'm shooting this thing, which is a Nikon FA. Everything's manual, like everything, including the focus. So it takes forever to shoot anything on it. And
you have to manually pull for the next frame, whereas my camera, you load in the film and then you just shoot, and then it'll be ready for the next one and the next one, whereas you have to pull the trigger.
Film advanced lever is the technical term. Yes, I've got to move the film forward myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's crack on.
So there's someone sitting on the bench and they're looking onto the lake, and I think it'd be a really nice shot. So I'm going to try and do like an over the shoulder shot. Done.
So this guy sitting by the statue, which I thought was quite nice. A little different. Can you name this duck? I'm calling it Gerald. So I'm working with others with a full manual camera, right? So how am I getting my exposures? So there's 2 methods. One, there is a meter in the camera, and with the meter in the camera, I'm metering something on the floor, on the ground, something which is around middle grey. So like, you know that healthy grass colour? That's about middle grey. Stuff's on the pavement, so I can kind of tell is darker or lighter than middle grey, and so you can work off that. Or I'm using one of these, which is a light meter, and it will tell me what numbers I need to have the correct exposure for my pictures. So shooting film is no longer a big problem, if you know what you're doing.
So in comparison, I'm setting mine to aperture priority. I've told it 5.6, and I'm letting it figure out the shutter speed. And hopefully most of the pictures will come out how I expect them to come out.
I love strange little cool things like this bottle. I'm not sure it'll make a nice picture or worth spending a frame on, but like just the way the light came through made it glow green from this side. Glass has a really nice kind of texture and like feel to it as a substance to photograph, and has interesting things with light.
I like this angle, the bottle, and then in the background is the bridge, the Lambeth Bridge, but I need to figure out what kind of aperture, how big or small I want the aperture to be, so that I can actually get some of the depth of the background. A 5.6, which I've been using all day, I don't think I'll get much of the bridge, so I guess I need to go higher, Harry?
You need to have a bigger number so it's a smaller hole.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 8, which would be 250, 250 shutter.
It's fine.
So I think they should be good, yeah. So I want to get a timing right because there's some boats going across. So I'm going to wait for this boat to pass, and then... Sorry, I'm just trying to... So our lenses are very limited because they're 50mm and they're fixed. Yes. Meaning that you only get that perspective of the world. It's quite wide 50mm, not too wide, but relatively. And to isolate people or figures and things, you need to sort of move around physically, and you might miss the shots, or the person might know you're there if it's a person, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So a 50mm lens is a really standard lens. Like years ago, it's what you got with your camera.
They're great lenses. Go get one if you don't own one. Like, if you have a DSLR or an SLR, get a 50mm lens. Thank me later. They're fantastic lenses. They do have that limitation though, as all prime lenses. So I've got an 85mm in my bag, which I will grab for you now, which is like this in comparison. Like, it's much bigger. It's also a lot heavier, and it's got a much tighter field of view. So 50mm is, by all accounts, the worst way of describing things. But if you think when you're standing and looking forwards, and you can see the world like around you before it kind of blurs out the edges of your vision, that's roughly a 50mm lens. That's how 50mm sees. If you concentrate on a person, let's say, and you've got one person, you can see head and shoulders of them, that's kind of an 85mm. Just for reference. So yeah, it's limiting, but it looks nice. And it makes you work for your shot.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, right? You can't just zoom, you've got to move your feet. Which, if you're a photographer watching this, that is what you should be doing, or even using your phone. Move your feet, you'll get better pictures from it.
I'm just waiting for someone to walk past. Literally it. We might have an opportunity.
Incoming! T-minus.
So we just told you, or recently told you, why or how we're exposing for our cameras. But I think your way of exposing is bad.
And I don't think yours is good.
Right, and this is why. So yours is bad because you're letting the camera decide some key elements of the image, taking away one, creative control, and two, it might just see the sky and go, ooh, that's bright, I'm gonna be real dark, and then suddenly you've got silhouettes when you don't want silhouettes.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas for you, you need to use a lot of your knowledge and maths and, you know, brain, and you might get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, then it's not going to be the photo you want. I mean, to be fair, both of us are going to be wrong in some ways and right in other ways. And because we can't check because they're film cameras, it's just going to be like, well, good luck.
Yeah, this is literally the back of my camera, right? Is that. Like, I don't even know what film I'm shooting.
Can't chimp.
No, can't chimp, can't look, can't know. And that's kind of the fun of it.
Yes.
And so it's about learning how your settings work.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no right or wrongs in photography.
No. But they're just better ways.
Or we'll see when the pictures develop, yeah? So what would be one of your tips to somebody who wants to shoot film?
So if you want to shoot film, in my experience, I would say that it's okay to not take the shot. So you see something, you line it up, and then something happens and it might go wrong. Because film, you pay for every frame, and you can't afford just to sort of think, oh, I'll take it and, you know, do another one. Then it's okay just to take your time, and it's okay to decide not to take the shot. Cool. And wait for the right shot instead.
I'd say for shooting film is kind of go and do it. And be aware that, again, you're paying for every frame, right? But be aware that it's going to make a difference how you shoot, especially if you're used to doing photography. It changes the way you think, which is more important.
Especially because you can't see what you've taken, so you just have to take it, and then it's mystery time.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of like get out of a camera which has a preview button or a preview switch, so you can see your depth of field before taking the shot. Which I believe my Nikon has and your Canon does not.
I think it does. I don't know.
We couldn't find the button, so...
Yeah.
Google, answer our question later. Okay, what would you say if someone wants to do street photography?
Yeah, I would say just have a lot of patience, because it's all about timing and walking around and looking for the right angle, for the sun to be the right way. If it's people, it's the right sort of, you know, getting a clean frame versus finding something that looks nice in the background, like a bus goes past that has like popping red if you want it or don't want it.
Yeah, color palette.
Yeah.
Color palette. Shoot black and white and look for contrast, so shadow and light, or kind of like study that color wheel a little bit. And if you want to do the whole color thing, have a look at photographers Ernst Haas, who's the first photographer to ever have color work displayed in a big, proper, like big museum. And also Saul Leiter, look at his color work, because that's also really cleverly done. And yeah, so kind of try and look for those things. And don't be afraid to use your phone as well for street photography. It's a good one as well. But yeah, I agree with kind of everything you said there. And to add to it, my tip for someone doing street photography: be okay that things don't happen how you want. You can't force things to go into place. And zoom with your feet. Don't get into like up in people's faces. Don't be confrontational, because you make a bad image for yourself and for other people. Like the photograph might be cool, but just because one guy's gone and done that doesn't mean that method works for you. And be aware that everyone sees differently. So take photographs and take pictures which are true to yourself and true to how you see the world and how you view it, as opposed to trying to just copy someone else's work.